The Commonwealth of Independent States will join efforts to fight against cybercrimes. Members of the lower house of Kazakh parliament, Majlis, have approved a document on countering the criminal activity. In Dushanbe, CIS leaders have signed the cooperation agreement on September last year. The document offers exchange of information between law enforcement bodies. Certain barriers will be reduced in financial bodies, and the order of requests will be simplified. According to Kazakh Foreign Ministry, today the agreement was ratified by Uzbekistan and Belarus.
У нас в расследовании находится уголовное дело, где 42 наших гражданина перечислили свои деньги, поверив различным,
We are investigating a criminal case involving 42 of our citizens who transferred large sums of money because they believed the advertisements on the internet. This money, which is 200 million, was cashed out in different cities in Russia. Therefore, we need such agreement in order to act in time and obtain the evidence related to such crimes.
В случае совершения вовремя среагировать, добыть доказательства, задержать виновных лиц, нам нужны именно вот такие соглашения.
In Bishkek, participants of an international telecommunication union forum discussed about how high technology changes present-day life. Experts from Uzbekistan, Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Pakistan and Georgia arrived in the capital of Kyrgyzstan for the event. Interested partners are the Administration of Communications, the relevant authorized state bodies, and the business communications operators. Experts of the industry hold discussions on current issues. Based on the results of this regional forum, such effective solutions will be worked out in order to determine the prospects for the development of the communications industry. The forum included interactive sessions, plenary sessions and round tables. Participants held discussions on the opportunities for cooperation and resource mobilization in the Commonwealth countries in areas such as health, agriculture and digital public administration. In general, we must come to universal digital transformation. Therefore, it will be convenient for citizens of the Kyrgyz Republic to use, for example, the government services, the healthcare and others without leaving home. At the end of the forum, the participants developed a number of common recommendations to determine the development vector of cooperation between the countries. The Kyrgyz parliament is considering a proposal to introduce a moratorium on hunting rare species of animals. The proposal initiators said that a temporary ban will help revive the population of mountain goats, rams, wild boars and roe deer. According to preliminary estimates, it will take at least 10 years to revive the animal population. Despite the fact that the ram of Marco Polo, goats, wild boars and roe deer are protected by law, the state allows hunting them. The goal of the main moratorium is to increase the number of populations. On the other hand, we aim to build the system in the most favorable way. As long as the system has very high corruption risks, we want to prevent destruction of existing wildlife populations.
Demand for fish from Zaisan Lake is growing every year. Local products are very popular not only in local but also in foreign markets. In particular, the United States and China are showing interest. The enterprise produces up to 4 tons of products per day. Flour is produced from the fish bones and sent to poultry farms. We are involved in the processing of fish fillets for export, and we also cut the fillet of pike, perch and bream for processing. We also make different products from the bones. The factory processes the fishes that were brought here. We have a waste-free production system which meets the international standard of hazard analysis and critical control points, or the HACCP. The standard must be adhered to in order to export to Russia, Kazakhstan, China, US and other countries. Holiday homes are planned to be built on the beach in order to develop winter tourism for fishing in the future. Nations are unhappy with the shortage of food and fuel. The population is unhappy with the depreciation of the currency, inflation, and corruption of officials. The protesters also demanded for the resignation of President Jovenel Moïse. The recent protests in the country have become the most severe and largest in the history of the state. The police used live ammunition and tear gas to disperse the crowd. Storm Narda in southwestern Mexico resulted in heavy rainfalls. 13 states of the region were flooded, and the state of emergency is expected to be announced. In addition, 250 smaller communities located near the coast of the Pacific Ocean were relocated to safer areas. There are no reports on victims and injuries at this point. London will tighten its immigration system after exiting from the European Union. This was announced by Minister of Internal Affairs Priti Patel. The United Kingdom will take an existing Australian 5-point system as a basis. Based on the system, only priority applicants whose specialists that are scarce in the UK, such as doctors, nurses, teachers and engineers, will be permitted entry into the country. The UK had previously agreed to leave the EU on March 29th this year. However, the Parliament has rejected the Brexit draft agreement introduced by the previous government under Theresa May 3 times.
NASA astronaut Shannon Walker has arrived in Kazakhstan. She is expected to take part in the Space Week in Almaty from October 4th to 10th. Dr. Walker served as a flight engineer of the crew of Expedition 2425, which was a long-term mission to the International Space Station, launched from Baikonur 9 years ago. She had spent 163 days in space.
I'm very happy to be here back in Kazakhstan because it gives me an opportunity to see much more of the country than I saw when I was here for my launch or my landing. I was pretty much only in the Baikonur Cosmodrome, and so now I can do some sightseeing, I can certainly meet some people, and it's wonderful to be able to talk to the school children here. I really appreciate the efforts that Kazakhstan does for the human spaceflight. Since we launch out of here and we land out of here, the Kazakh, the participation is so important.
An international portable exhibition on the nuclear-free world, which is the first of its kind in Commonwealth of Independent States, has been opened in the capital of Kazakhstan. The exposition has been showcased in 20 countries. Based on the UN data, the importance of entirely freeing the world from nuclear weapons has been emphasized. The event is organized by Japanese experts. The exhibition is dedicated to the 30th anniversary of the first president's decree on the closure of the Semipalatinsk nuclear test site and the 10th anniversary of the treaty on the Central Asian nuclear weapon-free zone. Japan is Kazakhstan's main partner in the fight against nuclear weapons. The two countries have experienced devastating consequences of nuclear explosions. The event will last until October 13th.
Жуырда ғана Токио қаласында ядролық қарусыз әлемге деген атты үлкен көрмемен халықаралық конференция.
Recently, we have organized a large exhibition titled The Path to the Nuclear-Free World at an international conference in Tokyo. Our Japanese colleagues have organized the exposition for Kazakhs in order to present the activities that they have done with regards to the nuclear-free world.
Болған шаралар туралы баяндайтын және көп деректерді қазақстандықтарға көрсету үшін осындай көрмені ұйымдастырып отырмыз.
Although many people know about nuclear weapons, they don't realize how destructive these weapons are. This is an international issue, but the public does not pay a lot of attention to it. Our main goal is to showcase the deadly weapons threats to humanity via the exhibition. Kazakhstan's anti-nuclear weapon initiatives are well known, and the country lead by example. Kazakhstan is one of the countries that lead the international movement on non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in Tokyo.
The local Museum of History in Zharma district in the East Kazakhstan region was replenished with new exhibits. The museum gained valuable materials which date back to Saka times. In addition, scientists provided materials about lives of famous personalities such as Akhtaylaq Bi, Akhtamberdi Batır, Yerjanbek, and Abay's talented student Arab Tanrıbilgenulu. In total, more than 12,000 valuable exhibits are kept in the museum. In our area, the population has lived since the Sakai period, which was evidenced by the found items. Royal mounds of the Sakai period were found in Jarktas area. There are more than 2 royal tombstones. The entire jewelry art was discovered as well. Other gold items were found, including beads, fasteners for camisole, drink cuffings, and other gold jewelry. Kazakhstan and Turkey plan to organize joint scientific conferences dedicated to anniversaries of Al-Farabi and Abay Kunanbayev. This was announced at the meeting of representatives of the spiritual administration of the Muslims of the 2 countries in Ankara. In addition, as part of reached agreements, partners plan to improve the level of religious knowledge and the imam's expertise by conducting trainings.
Анкараға сапарымызда болашақта біздің мемлекетімізде аталып өтейін деп отырған Al-Farabi.
During the meeting in Ankara, we held discussions on joint events with Turkey's spiritual administration of Muslims. We also talked about organization of religious and cultural conferences dedicated to the 1150th anniversary of Al-Farabi. Moreover, we will organize readings of Quran and Abay's works.
Абай оқулары аясындағы бірнеше осындай бағдарламаларлық жұмыстарымызды ортаға салып отырмыз.
The best works of modern Kazakh literature was published in French for the first time. Paris hosted a presentation of 2 volumes of anthology of Kazakh writing and poetry, which include works of 60 Kazakh authors. The translation work had lasted for nearly a year. 70 people have worked on the French version. The event has become part of the project on promoting Kazakh culture in the global world.
L'âme, oui, on voit bien que c'est un peuple, je pense, qui a pas mal.
It's possible to learn about a soul of Kazakhs through these books. We see that Kazakhs keep traditions and the memory of ancestors. They are also faithful to their land and culture. This culture must certainly be shown to the world.
Parfaitement parler au monde, quoi. Je veux dire, c'est ce que je vois.
I see a clear progress. Like in French literature, there are trends such as symbolism, romanticism, and others in Kazakh literature. It went through same stages, but in much faster pace.
Tout ce que vous voulez.
Publishers paid special attention to quality of translations. They held discussions with Kazakh authors on details of the language and traditions. Linguists highlighted that they have been working hard, and now they are proud of the result.
Над переводом работала большая международная группа.
The big international team of almost all leading translators who are aware of our region worked on translations. These people learned a lot about Kazakhstan by visiting the country and meeting with authors. Creative communities of different countries become closer to Kazakhstan thanks to this communication. The entire circulation of anthology in French, which included 10,000 copies, will be transferred to libraries, universities, and research centers. Collection of Kazakh literature will be available online for everyone who wants to learn about Kazakh culture.
Shymkent hosted the pre-screening of Kazakh film Bekzat. The film, which was commissioned by Khabar agency, shows the story of boxer and an Olympic champion in Sydney, Bekzat Satarkhano. He died very young in a car accident 19 years ago. This is the first autobiographical drama about the athlete.
Мы специально в год молодежи при поддержке Министерства информации и
In
общественной
conjunction with the Year of Youth, with support of the Ministry of Information and Social Development, we decided to commission this project, which is a gift for our spectators. If Bekzat were alive, he would have turned 40 next year. Over these 19 years, all young boxers and athletes considered and respected his formula of success. Young athlete and two-time champion of Kazakhstan in kickboxing, Samat Azimkulov, starred as Bekzat. The actor says that this role was very important for him. Begzat has been my idol since childhood. I wanted to learn a lot about him. My classmates will confirm that I used to say I'll definitely star in a film about Begzat Satarkhanov. I was studying in the 8th grade at that time. It is an honor to play this main character. The film has widely impressed the public. The spectators highlighted that they watched the film in one breath. The local film will be released to the public tomorrow.